Do you share food with people? Do you like sharing food with people? And what do you constitute as too far when it comes to sharing? Let's talk about it. G'day there guys, it's your main man Marky and welcome back to another episode of r/Am I the A-hole? We've got some spicy topics today as always, so if you like this video, sit back, relax, chuck a prawn of the Barbie, and enjoy my bloody good voice. Let's go. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to split Popeyes evenly with my friends after his girlfriend ate the majority of the chicken skin? I was over at my friend's house for a small get-together. The host, Tom, fake name, says, let's all order fried chicken. So we end up getting Popeyes off Uber Eats. The food ends up coming really early, as normally it takes around 1.5 hours, and one of our friends hasn't even shown up yet, so we decided to just wait a bit to eat. Tom's girlfriend Megan says she's going to have some now. After about an hour, when I go to grab some food, I grab a sandwich. This is untouched. And then grab some of the fried chicken, and well, all the skin has been pulled off it. I'm like, what the hell? So I go back into the living room and I was like, hey, did the food come like this? And then Megan is like, oh no, I just ate the skins. It's my favorite part. And I was like, what the hell? My other friends were like, what the hell too, but didn't want to be confrontational. I was like, okay, whatever. My sandwich is just fine, I'll eat that, and we had some potato chips too. Later, my friend Tom requests me on Cash App for the Popeyes. I'm like, I'll only pay you for the sandwich. He then goes, come on, the fried chicken was just fine. And I'm like, no, get it from Megan. Now Tom's angry at me for not paying. To me, this is just messed up that he wants me to feel bad for Megan because she has an eating disorder and can't help herself time to time. But she's 25 years old, like, grow up. What annoyed me the most was he was acting like Megan was doing a favor by saying she ate the skin that's the unhealthy part. Some of my other friends hadn't paid Tom at all since they didn't even order a sandwich and didn't eat anything. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the a-hole. I can see myself being the a-hole here because the chicken was still edible and it wasn't Tom's fault that his girlfriend is like that. I just think of the South Park episode of KFC every time, and Cartman was a goddamn asshole for doing that to everyone else. For real though, the chicken is contaminated. She's touched it and ripped the skin off of every single piece of fried chicken. Yeah, technically, the chicken is still edible, but there's not a goddamn way in hell I'm eating a piece of fried chicken after the skin's been ripped off, which is the best part, and someone else did that and put the chicken back. I'm not eating someone else's goddamn germs. That's just not for me. And she's 25 years old. There is no excuse for this behavior. She's just a devil. She's a demon parading around as a human. No sane, normal human being does this at a group event. I'm convinced only Lucifer and his demon disciples are capable of such wickedness and evil. So I don't feel bad casting judgment on Tom and his demon girlfriend. Not the a-hole for not paying a fair share, quotes unquote, of this Uber order. They just suck. Now in the comments, MM172 says, not the a-hole. I'll admit to having ordered fried chicken and not having eaten any of the actual chicken before, but it was my order. Megan knows damn well the rest of you wanted your fair share of the crispy stuff, or you'd have just ordered rotisserie from somewhere else. And if she's struggling with impulse control, the incident should be a sign to her that she needs to be working on that with a pro, not an excuse for being inconsiderate. Tom needs to accept that she's basically stolen the meals that you'd intended to eat, and then they need to eat the cost. Yup, it's one thing if you order pizza and are like, hey, I like the crust, and ask everyone for their crusts, because it's not a common part to really like. But liking the skin the best is kind of a given. It's the equivalent to picking and eating the cheese off an entire pizza, except possibly grosser than that. To me, it's the equivalent of licking the icing off a cupcake and leaving the cake part for other people. Oh my god. That's a jailable offense in my view. That's disgusting. Not the a-hole. She really just ate the skin off every piece of chicken? As for not paying, you only ate the sandwich. Why should you have to pay for what you didn't eat? And OP replies, not every piece. The drumsticks were okay, but the chicken thighs and breasts completely removed. I just felt gross touching the chicken too after her hands had been all over it. It's literally something Cartman does in an episode of South Park. If someone does something Cartman does, there can be no question they are the a-hole. So that's a not the a-hole for you. What a wild situation, bro. Our next post is by user Daisy99 titled, "Am I the a-hole for uninviting mother-in-law's fiancé to my wedding after he threatened to pour wine on me?" For some background, we aren't very close to mother-in-law or her fiancé. She feels we took father-in-law's side in the divorce, and she's always kept her distance. The other day, we were at my fiancé's grandparents' house. My mother-in-law's sister made a joke that her mother should be one of those mother-in-laws that wear white. Mother-in-law just laughed, and it doesn't really seem like something she would do, but I added that my bridesmaids would soak her in wine if she did. Mother-in-law's fiancé said that would be hilarious because he would destroy my wedding gown. I asked what he meant, and he said he would empty a bottle on me if any of my stupid friends did anything to her. Mother-in-law tried to move the conversation along, but I have anxiety about stuff like that, and it was bothering me. I said that he can't come to the wedding because I can't trust him. Mother-in-law called me this morning and wanted to confirm if I was serious. I said I was. It was not the first incident. He's been rude to me in the past. Mother-in-law started crying and said she isn't going to be around her ex-husband without him. I said that was pretty vain, but her choice. Now mother-in-law isn't coming, which we don't care too much about, but her whole side of the family is furious. Her dad might not come now, which will bother my fiancé. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the a-hole. It was all a hypothetical conversation around things that probably won't happen, so I don't know if I overreacted. A wedding is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, and now I caused a family rift. She is his mom, so I kind of feel like I should give in. I can see arguments for everyone sucks here in this story, but I'm more on the fence of you're the a-hole for this one. This entire situation started over a joke that mother-in-law's sister made. Mother-in-law just laughed at it. She didn't agree, she didn't say that she was ever going to wear white, but then you made the joke that if she did that, your bridesmaids would soak her in wine if she did. I can see how in the moment, I'm not there in the room with you guys, that would be a funny joke, but you can also see, right, how that's a threat. That is a threat that came out of nowhere. You started this. And then on top of that, your mother-in-law's fiancé responded with a threat because you threatened mother-in-law. Mother-in-law didn't get offended at your joke. She tried to move the conversation on, but no. You had to take his threat seriously, and I understand it comes from anxiety, but you started it, and you can't take the same shots coming at you. You're a hypocrite, OP. You are the definition of hypocrite. And then instead of apologizing and making amends with these people, you bar the mother-in-law's fiancé who was just defending her in a joking way from the wedding. None of these hypotheticals ever were going to happen, and obviously it would be shut down before it was allowed to happen if it ever did, which it wouldn't. Textbook hypocrisy and overthinking gone too far. This entire situation was started by you and should have been ended by you, but you decided to just double down on your threats. Congratulations, I hope you're happy with the family rift you've actually caused in this one. You're the a-hole. Now in the comments, Ragdoll Seeker says, "Everyone sucks here. Why is everyone behaving like they're little kids? Even preteens are facepalming at this level of immaturity." To recap, 1. No, mother-in-law is not planning to wear white. She did not even say anything about the dress. This is on mother-in-law's sister. 2. No, you cannot threaten mother-in-law when she has not said a damn thing about you. And 3. No, mother-in-law's fiancé should not have added gasoline to the fire. Any one of you could stop this train wreck. You should have just said, ha, I'm sure mother-in-law will choose a very nice dress, and throw mother-in-law's sister's words in her face. You would have mother-in-law in your camp, and everyone would look at that sister as if she was weird. Mother-in-law did not know what to say at this stupidity, and that is why she tried to laugh to change the topic. She did not decide to wear white. I'd also add, 5. No, OP, you did not need to jump right from, if your friends attack my fiancé, I will do the same to you, to, he's going to ruin my wedding for no reason. I get having anxiety. I have it too. But that is some whack-ass paranoia right there. I highly recommend that you read through OP's responses because there's so much here that confirms OP's "you're the a-hole." And I say this because, as top comment, ruling will be based on your comment. Father-in-law cheated on mother-in-law with a 21-year-old who will be his date to the wedding. AP asked mother-in-law for a threesome. OP and fiance refused to ask mother-in-law how she's doing out of respect for father-in-law, the cheater. OP's fiancé blames mother-in-law for working and hiring nannies, though the cheating with a barely adult is fine. Mother-in-law's fiancé is protective of mother-in-law because he has seen the abuse and neglect she deals with from her parents, siblings, and son. OP knows mother-in-law wouldn't wear white, but is punishing her anyway, and OP uses her anxiety to gain sympathy in this post, even though she knows mother-in-law won't wear white, but then turns around and calls mother-in-law's anxiety over being at the wedding alone with her ex and his affair partner annoying. MB1428 says, "Normally I go not the a-hole in wedding invite situations, but here, you're the a-hole. You started the issue by saying you'd have your bridesmaids dump wine on her. Her husband responded in kind. That you then use that to disinvite him is kinda crazy to me." Edit. The aunt's comment about mother-in-law wearing white was a joke poking fun at mother-in-laws who actually wear white, and your mother-in-law laughed at it. You follow up by saying you realize mother-in-law wouldn't even do this, yet you still made your comment about having the bridesmaids pour wine on her. You're definitely the a-hole here. Our next post is by user Economy Charge 6507, titled, "Am I the a-hole for saying I'm retiring from taking care of grandkids full-time?" So my husband and I had kids young. I was 18 when my daughter was born, 21 when I had my son. My daughter ended up getting pregnant at 16. Even after she moved out and got married, my husband and I were heavily involved in caring for the child. At first, because she was young and juggling school alongside being a single mom, then she finished college, got a great job, and her husband has a high-paying job as well. They both worked crazy hours, and during this time, my husband and I should have had us time. We were basically raising a third child. We took him to school, babysat him in the afternoons, and he'd spend at least 1 month with us during the summer. As a result, we are very close. But we don't resent what we did and enjoyed doing it. However, now our grandson is 18 and going off to college across the country. My husband has retired and we want to move down south for better weather and relaxation. It has been the plan for years. We're working on selling the house and plan to be down there by Christmas. Aw, bless you guys. The issue is, our daughter had a baby, our second grandson, 2 years ago, and is now pregnant again. She quit her job to be a stay-at-home mom with a little one, so we haven't had to do as much with him. We love him and we spoil him, but it's going to be a different relationship. My daughter says we shouldn't move because she may need our help. I said while her father is retiring from work, I'm retiring from childcare. I want to be the grandmother that sees her grandbabies and spoils them, but is not basically raising them. She got offended and said that this is just what grandmothers do, and I said not all. My son doesn't mind that we're moving. He actually lives in a different state and has no plans of having children. We'll even be closer to him with the move. Not extremely, but right now we're about 12 hours away. With our new home, we'd be about 4. It's my daughter and her husband who are mad at us, especially as I said I was retiring. They say I make it sound like caring for my grandson was a chore. Am I the a-hole? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the a-hole. I may be the a-hole because I can see how she thinks I resent what I did, even though I don't, and I also get that she feels I'm cheating her other kids of something. Look, I can't fault you for those reasons. I can see how you interpret her actions and words as her thinking that you resent what you did, even though I know you don't. And that the obvious overtone here is that she feels you're cheating her other kids of something? I would call it fair and valid criticism if it was rooted in reality, and that you were genuinely doing something wrong in this situation, but you're not. You've spent such a large portion of your life looking after her, then looking after her son, and then looking after their next kid. Like, eventually you have to walk away from this. They're both stable adults by the sound of it. It's time for them to grow up and to look after the kids themselves and hire babysitters to look after those kids. They're just mad because they don't get to save money now on having a free babysitter on call that'll take their kid away from them over the summer for a month. You were so generous, pretty much half raising your grandson until he's 18, and I'm sure he absolutely loves you guys for that. But it's true, at some point this has to stop. You have to go live your life again with your husband and have more time to yourselves. I would call them greedy and manipulative for leaving their grandson with you for such a long time until he was 18. In my opinion, and it's not always right, obviously, they should have figured something out where a babysitter looks after that kid more and the onus isn't always entirely on you. And it's not like you don't know that either. Here's me just validating your thoughts, OP. If she's offended because this is just what grandmothers do, she's living in fantasy land. Time to stop smoking whatever she's smoking and come back to being a normal parent. Because it's definitely not what all grandmothers do. Not the a-hole OP. Now in the comments, TX Farmer says, the needs of a 16-year-old mother and a mother in her 30s are two extremely different things. You went above and beyond for your grandson. You're at a different stage in life, and so is your daughter, not the a-hole. Quote, they make it sound like caring for my grandson was a chore? Well, it was? That doesn't mean you didn't love him or cherish the time you had with him, but you'd already struggled through raising your own kids when you were young, and didn't exactly sign up to raise someone else's. Your daughter and her husband need to realize that what you did for them and their son was a favor, above and beyond the call of duty, not a responsibility, the same way that raising your own kids is. And you in no way owe them the same unbelievably generous favor with the rest of their kids. Everyone is responsible for raising their own kids. Any help you get from parents, grandparents, siblings, friends, etc. is a favor and a blessing, not a requirement or a guarantee. The only person who owes you help raising your kid is the person who helped make the kid. And going back to that everyone's responsible for raising their own kids, recognizing your own inability to care for a child and giving that child up for adoption to someone more competent is also fulfilling your parental responsibilities. Ollie Golly Molly says, not the a-hole. She shouldn't be having kids that she wants someone else to raise. California Jade says, did your parents raise your daughter for you? I'm trying to understand her thought that grandparents essentially raise their grandchildren. You've been very supportive, and she and her husband sound like they've done well. Go ahead and move. Don't look back with any level of regret, and enjoy your retirement. Your daughter needs to figure out her own life and choices. And OP replies, my parents were not involved at all. We lived with mother-in-law for a few years, but she never raised the kids, just babysat occasionally so I could go grocery shopping in peace. On that same note, I bet she wouldn't be up to raising your grandson's child if he were to have one right now. She doesn't even want to raise her own baby. She is sure as hell not raising a grandchild. Am I the a-hole for causing my twin sister to postpone her wedding with her fiancé? So for context, I, 21 male, have a twin sister, 21 female, who I basically grew up with. We're incredibly close, and I truly only want for her to be happy, but I'm afraid I might have gotten in the way of her happiness. For a little backstory, I'm a very petite dude, 5'6" and very bony. I've been kinda insecure about my build my whole life, but nothing serious. My sister was engaged to this buff dude, 26 male, who was very built and around 6'4". He treats me fine whenever my sister is here, but when she's not, he makes rude comments about my height and weight, my mannerisms, my posture, etc. I kinda shut up about it and sucked it up, cause I didn't want my sister to be upset. But recently something happened, and it was the last straw for me. He was having a huge bachelor party, and for whatever reason decided to invite me. I showed up there, and he and his 3 or so friends constantly laughed at me, and pointed at me and some other people for the majority of the party. So when I decide to leave, I go up to him to congratulate him like a mature person, only for him to say to me, "Don't worry, little guy, once you get out of puberty, you'll find someone." I told him to go screw himself and that I already was seeing a very nice person and it's none of his business. Later that night, while preparing food with my sister, I told her about this and every other time he's been doing things like this, like mocking me or body blocking me, and she got furious. She called her fiancé screaming and says that she'll need to take some time before the wedding to rethink the relationship before the wedding. Now she's crying and I feel like I ruined her chance at love. So am I the a-hole for ratting my sister's fiancé to her and making her very upset? Edit, I didn't say something earlier because I felt like I could endure it to not worry my sister. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the a-hole. I think I might be the a-hole because she was really looking forward to the wedding, and I might have ruined it. To be honest, I feel like I could have sucked up her fiancé's behavior a little longer, but he also had it coming. Any normal person that is in that fiancé's position kinda knows what's coming to them if they bully like that and they say these things. For you to have gone so long and not said anything, the assumption would be from him, I guess, that it's normalized and that it's fine for him to do it because there is no backlash. That's not socially acceptable behavior. You shouldn't accept that from him, and she shouldn't accept that from him either. If she chooses to break the marriage off as a result of his behavior, he has no one but himself to blame for this one. You shouldn't be sucking up his bullying any more than he should be bullying you in the first place. That's just not how these things work. He deserves everything that's coming his way as a result of this, not the a-hole. Now in the comments, DTH217 says, "Not the a-hole. You probably could have mentioned his behavior a little sooner, but he's the one that chose to be an a-hole to you. The only thing that messed up your sister's chance at happiness was the fiancé's poor behavior." It says a lot about the fiancé if that's how he treats his future wife's loved ones. I can only imagine how he treats her if he decides that she isn't good enough in the future. He invited OP to the bachelor party to be used as the butt of jokes. What a bully. He must have hid his bullying tendencies really well, because it sounds like OP's sister was caught off guard. Good point. It may be painful now, but it's better to find this out before the wedding instead of several years into marriage. OP, I just want to say that as a fellow twin, that if my partner was treating my twin like that, I would definitely reconsider the relationship too, or drop it altogether. You didn't ruin the relationship, he did. He ruined it by hurting someone she loves dearly, who is you, and it was her choice to postpone the wedding. She loves you, and you were in her life a lot longer than him. She wouldn't want a relationship that hurts the bond between you two. Nor would she probably want a bully as a partner. Now, I'm not usually for the whole bros before hoes, or sisters before misters, but in this case, twins before twits. Not the a-hole. Quote, "I feel like I ruined her chance at love." Nah, you most likely saved her. This isn't love. This guy is a bully, and it would have been only a matter of time before he started to turn his insults towards your sister, if he's not doing that already behind closed doors. You did not make her upset. She's crying because she has come to the realization that the man she once loved isn't who she thought he was. She's grieving this. And Euro103 says, "Not the a-hole. She deserves to know who's treating her family horribly. Imagine if this came out after she had married him and had kids. What if their kids were also petite and small? There was no guarantee that he wouldn't mock and belittle them for not meeting his expectations. If that happened, she would have even more trouble leaving him or fixing the relationship. No, it's better she knows what kind of person he is now before things get even more serious. I hope she feels better soon. Sending best wishes." Alright guys, that's the end of the video. Friendly reminder that I'm now posting daily on my second channel, Marky2. If you want to laugh at memes with me, link is down in the description below. On phone, you just click that little arrow underneath the video. I also want to say thank you to all my channel members and Patreon subscribers. Your names are currently floating down the screen here, and I love to see all of you guys. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Thank you for supporting me. I really appreciate it. If you see yourself on screen, I want you to give yourself a big pat on the back for being amazing as always, and thank you for supporting me again. I do hope that you guys have a good day, night, sleep, whatever it is you're up to. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.